Bitcoin daily chart hitting some short-term resistance, major short-term resistance. A throwback into the 80s, so very much in play, would be incredibly commonplace for Bitcoin, but Bitcoin on the weekly and other indicators signaling that the bottom is in right now. Whether you're a Bitcoin holder, whether you're a crypto holder, get ready for the days, the weeks ahead, because the reversal is in play right now. That might come with some volatility. We're going to visualize it on the screen today. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. Bottom indicators really going off all over the place. I want to start here real quick. This is Hunter over at Bitwise. He's the CEO of Bitwise. Bitcoin at 94,000. Yet Google searches for Bitcoin near long-term lows. Look at that chart. Retail is not here. We need to make note of this. This hasn't been retail driven. Institutions, advisors, corporates, and nations have come into the space. The types of investors buying Bitcoin is expanding. And please note, not just Bitcoin. These investors are getting into altcoins as well, a little bit more early stage than Bitcoin, but we saw how this affected Bitcoin's charts once the ETFs came into play. That's something to keep in mind. I want to look at Bitcoin on the weekly, but I really want to look at it on the daily, because right now we're meeting just huge anticipated resistance. It could lead to some volatility in the days ahead, but I want to talk about the bottoming out here. One thing I want to note is this. If you go and you look at our bull bear arena indicator for Bitcoin over in CCV intelligence system, I want to point something to your attention. Look at right here where we are on this chart, hitting 5, but just breaking this downtrend on Bitcoin. What I really want to take note of, because we're going to do technical analysis of this area, is we're kind of, it looks like it's getting like kind of toppy here. And this is a short-term indicator, quicker moving indicator, but getting a little toppy. But what I really want to look at is right here, September, the end of September going into October, getting a little toppy there. But this marked the real beginning of the reversal. This was a big bottom indicator when you're looking at this. This was a higher high move on this chart. So the reason why this is so important is because right now, Bitcoin on the shorter term, it's getting a little resistance. We might have a short-term top in play, and this is very good to mentally anticipate some potential downside even into the 80s. We'll talk about the breakout if the bulls really just step in and don't even let this happen. But let's check this clip out from a few days ago. Now, anticipate resistance. If Bitcoin starts breaking through that area, I might have to start doing some live streams, because that is a very bullish confirmation. If we get resistance, anticipate throwbacks to key moving averages. And in this regard, I'm really looking at the 20-day and the 50-day moving average. So if we go to the daily chart, you can just see the lower end of this Fibonacci range is holding up very well. And what that is it's a swing high, all-time high to the swing low, and it's just this Fibonacci range. So that 618 line right at around $95,000 to $96,000, it's holding as resistance right now. Bitcoin is not even broken into the Fibonacci. So with that being said, the downside that is in play, and then I'm going to talk about why I think the bottom is in, and maybe there's a little volatility, but I think Bitcoin's about to make its way towards all-time high sooner than later. The downside that's obviously in play is still what we talked about in the video the other day, 20, 50-day moving averages, maybe the 200, right? So either way, potentially in the 80s, bullish confirmation would be Bitcoin actually starts breaking into this area, closing candles above. Now, here's where things become really cool. If we look at what just happened on the weekly chart, we have a 20-week moving average closed above, or we have the weekly candle closing above the 20-week moving average at green line. This is something we were tracking last week. Currently, we have the weekly candle above the 20-week moving average. When Bitcoin was making its way out of the bottom back here, multi-month, like very long 8-month consolidation, this is a move that happened towards the end of September, weekly candle, and then there was a bit of volatility as it consolidated around that weekly 20-week moving average. Why am I using this area? Well, a very good indicator would be this August move. If we go and look at this on the Fear and Volatility Index, S&P 500, here's August fear. Look how high it got. Look how high we just got. Just survived it. And this is record-breaking area, whether you have August or not. Here's COVID all the way back here. So that indicator alone really brings a connection between the current Bitcoin charts, right? So where we are right now trying to bottom out, and the Bitcoin charts back here, bottoming out. Now this gets even kind of crazier. As Bitcoin was kind of making this move of consolidation, you can see there was a couple weeks left before explosion. That's what's in play right now. Couple weeks left before potential all-time highs or Bitcoin approaching all-time highs. Look at this. When Bitcoin was kind of putting in that 20-week moving average move, this is what it looks like on the daily. What was it doing? It was meeting similar Fibonacci resistance, swing high to swing low. That green channel that you see there, there's Bitcoin meeting the resistance end of September, going lower, and look where it went lower to. The 20 was just crossing above the 50, and it visited those moving averages. It visited the 50. It even was looking a little dicey here, closing below the 50, but it held. So that throwback happened. We are kind of right here, right? There's no guarantees we get a similar thing playing out, but this was like a weeks of move right there. And a lot of volatility, 66,000 down to around 58,000, a lot of volatility. So right now, if we go to the chart, you can just see, man, we might have something similar in store. We can even, just for visualization purposes, not because we're saying this is exactly how it will play out, we can take our fractal from that swing high resistance where we are right now, basically, and just kind of plot it over here, bring it over, and just check it out. We could have a move like this playing out. It could be May 9th, and the bears are kind of like, man, we got them in the 80s, and all of a sudden Bitcoin breaks out, right? This is kind of what happened in that last consolidation phase. I'm not saying it will play out exactly like this, but this is a very useful mental exercise, something to anticipate. If we get a throwback right now, it's normal. And that's something I do this analysis to tell myself that. So if it happens, I'm watching these areas to see how Bitcoin holds, right? So right now, that Fibonacci could be the bullish confirmation area, and that is around $101,000 to $96,000. If Bitcoin starts just making a move towards this range, into this range, even the upper end of the range towards 100,000, then we can really start talking about the macro bullish reversal confirmation. This is what was happening back here, but just notice, from this point, it took kind of weeks and volatility and choppiness for the breakout, for it to test the upper range of support. You can see it's doing there, and then boom. So how this plays out, nobody knows. But what I can tell you is this. We have tons of indicators that are suggesting the bottom is in, right? Unless something crazy happens. We can't discount some just, we just had the tariff situation here. Something like this. If something crazy happens, who knows what happens to crypto and the traditional markets. We could see a lower low. Just always keep that in mind. We're always keeping that in mind. But just from a fundamental technical analysis perspective right now, Bitcoin is on pace to basically put in its bottoming out formation a little bit quicker than back here. So we're going to continue tracking this on Bitcoin and obviously on the altcoin charts and all these other charts. So if you're out there, you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Prepare for volatility in Bitcoin and altcoins. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. Your support means a ton. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.